All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily, guys. Today we're gonna go ahead and discuss. Trades. All right, we're gonna discuss some trades because the Houston Rockets have a little bit of a problem on their hands, and it's probably the best problem you could possibly have on an NBA roster. They need to fit room for Garrison Matthews. Some way, somehow. I mean, it's not like Garrison Matthews heading into this season was really, getting all that many minutes, especially on a consistent basis. But it's easy to say this in retrospect, but, looking back at like this past summer, it took a really, really long time for Garrison Matthews to get signed. And, like I said, it's much easier to say this in retrospect, but, I don't know how 29 other teams really kind of fumbled that bag. I mean, I really don't understand it. But regardless, the Houston Rockets, Garrison Matthews is on a two-way contract. We need to give him a deal. We need to give him a guaranteed deal. We need to lock him up for probably like at least 2 years. The good news is this. The Houston Rockets aren't necessarily in a desperate rush to make this happen. They can still... it's not like this needs to be done in the next like day or two. Like they can't take all the time in the world, but they definitely have. They've got enough time to make something happen where they're not desperately making a move where it was like, what the hell did you just do? And then you see Garrison Matthews get signed to a guaranteed contract, and you're like, oh, I guess that makes sense. That's not going to happen, and that's especially not going to happen with Rafael Stone as your GM. But before we get into this video, guys, if you enjoy it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We post Rockets content really like 2 to 3 times a day, every day on this channel. So every like, every comment, every subscriber is greatly appreciated. Now, my best guess is that they're trying to unload Eric Gordon and Daniel House in a similar package. Now, here's the complicating nature of this. Eric Gordon, especially the way Eric Gordon is playing basketball right now, his contract isn't that much of a nightmare. I saw a tweet today from probably by, like, I'm not even giving his name, but if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, you know who I'm talking about. Gave me a channel strike, pretty much almost took down my whole YouTube channel single-handedly. But basically, this guy was like going ahead and bragging about how he was like, people were complaining all summer and all season about how hard Eric Gordon's contract was going to be to move and how, shitty of a contract it was, yada, yada, yada. Eric Gordon is not on a nightmare contract, right? Us Rocket fans, we're more worried about Eric Gordon being on this roster past the trade deadline for 2 reasons. The first reason is Eric Gordon is good at basketball. He's very good at basketball. So if we have Eric Gordon on this roster past the trade deadline and he's still playing basketball games, as we witnessed last night, what was the deficit? 19 points. The Rockets scored 44 points in the fourth quarter to come back and beat the Atlanta Hawks. Eric Gordon makes us better. Regardless, you can shape it any way you want. Yeah, he makes a lot of mistakes at the end of games. But usually it's not enough to like completely botch the whole game. That's pretty rare. So he makes us better. And he's going to make us win more games. But most importantly, because you can deal with wins. I can deal with wins. I love people in the comment section saying like, why are we winning all these games? You guys need to start losing. We have a whole season to lose basketball games. I'm going to enjoy these victories. But the second and most important reason is just, it's Eric Gordon. And he's good at basketball. And what's his average on the season? 29.9 minutes per game. So he's getting 30 minutes per game. You can put two and two together, and that basically means less minutes for. Like a lot of players, a lot of young Rockets players, but I'm thinking specifically Josh Christopher. Like once Eric Gordon is off of this roster, that's when you're going to see Josh Christopher. It's really going to ramp up because what's he at minutes-wise? 10.2. Since he got called up in the G League earlier this month, or I guess now it's earlier last month, middle of November, they sent him down early November, brought him back before Thanksgiving. You're starting to see, as we witnessed in the James Harden game where Josh Christopher went 7-7 and 4-4 on his birthday, he's starting to play more, and he's starting to play a lot more. So once Eric Gordon is off this roster, that is when you're going to see Josh Christopher get more as much run as he really can take at that point. 25 minutes, 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a lot to go around. So, Eric Gordon, $18 million a year this year. I think it's like 19 something next year. Maybe it's 20 something the year after that. But basically the third year is not guaranteed. So you have 2 years left of Eric Gordon, and like I say, he's putting up 15 points per game. He's also shooting over 45% from downtown. So a contending team is going to, they're essentially are licking their chops right now when they're thinking about Eric Gordon. But the thing is, we want teams to get a little bit more desperate, and we want also Eric Gordon to keep this up. We need Eric Gordon to stay healthy, and we need him to keep this up. I wasn't a huge fan of Eric Gordon taking the second leg of a back-to-back off, but it makes sense. I just don't like it from a winning standpoint because like I said, I'm enjoying these wins. Eric Gordon is not going to play in our next game, which is tomorrow against, I don't know how in the hell I don't know it. Whoever the hell the Rockets play tomorrow, the Cavs, I knew it. Eric Gordon's out. This is good and bad news. Obviously, it means we have a greater chance of losing. It also means you're probably going to see Daniel Theis, especially because you're playing the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow. You're definitely going to see Daniel Theis, and you're going to see a lot of Daniel Theis, trust me on that one. But we need him to stay healthy. So, it really isn't the end of the world when you really dive into it. Trading Eric Gordon should not be a difficult thing in its own. I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm looking for I'm looking for two different things. I'm looking for either young players or a young, promising-esque player, maybe even a player who didn't pan out, like a little package of something, something intriguing, something enticing, something promising is what I'm looking for Eric Gordon. Or I would totally take this. A first-round pick doesn't even give a damn against what team it is. I will take a first-round pick in any fashion, in any year. And an expiring contract. I would definitely take that because the Rockets can do a couple of different things. They can either buy that player out or they can just, not play. So Eric Gordon shouldn't be an issue. Danuel House Jr. is where we're going to be seeing the issue here. He's shooting under 40% from the field. He's shooting under 30% from downtown. He can't stay healthy. How many games does he play? We got it right here. 16 games, man. We've played over 30 games. Danuel House, or maybe 30 exactly. Danuel House Jr. has missed like half of the games. For some reason, since the bubble, this man can't stay healthy. Like, this man literally cannot stay healthy. It makes absolutely no sense. It's just my thinking is that they try and package Eric Gordon and Danuel House Jr. together. I think it's going to be like a 2-for-1 type of trade because, like I said, you're trying to clear up a roster spot for Garrison Matthews, Gary Bird. So the good news is this is a good problem to have, right? You have a guy that is not on a fully guaranteed contract, and you have valuable trade assets who are at their peak right now. Yeah, you got Danuel House Jr., but just because you want to trade Danuel House Jr. doesn't mean necessarily that they are going to trade Danuel House Jr. and doesn't mean that he's going to be in an Eric Gordon package. So, Rafael Stone, he's going to figure something out in, whatever he's got to do. Rafael Stone is going to figure it out, but I think we're going to start seeing some more Eric Gordon trade proposal, hypothetical type of articles and videos coming out. So, obviously any Eric Gordon proposed trade, hypothetical trade, I'll definitely make a video on it. But I would imagine most of them are going to have a guy like Danuel House Jr. in that lineup there. Because I'm thinking Danuel House Jr. just needs a change of scenery. He needs to stay healthy, most importantly, but he really needs a change of scenery. So I think he could thrive on a championship-level team where he's getting, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes max, because he can knock down a three-point shot. He can play defense. I don't know what the hell is happening to Danuel House Jr. right now and in the last couple of years. So that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.